Hi, I'm Danger Dan Jers, the host and GM of the D&D Real Play podcast, D&D Dark. Join us on Wednesdays for an absurd, over-the-top comedy horror adventure, starring some of history's most infamous monsters.
I'm Ben Magnet. I play Mary Frankenstein, our barbarian.
I am Daniel Cruz. I am playing Imhotep the Mummy, our cleric.
I'm Jordan, and I play Larry Talbot, a lycanthropic warlock.
I am Grayson, playing Jet Griffin, the Invisible Man, the party's rogue.
I am Aaron. I play the Phantom of the Opera, our bard.
For more information, go to dndarkpodcast.com and listen to us anywhere you find podcasts.
Hey everybody, I would like to welcome you to another episode of Pop Culture Gems. This is a series where we talk to amazing creators, artists, cosplayers, voice actors, and so much more. If you like the interviews we do with these terrific guests, give us a thumbs up or subscribe to our YouTube channel, the CFG channel. We also release podcast gems on all podcast services out there, or go to our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, to not miss an episode. Today, I am speaking to an amazing individual I met at the Anime Los Angeles Convention Center convention earlier this year. They recently opened a business for fans of crafting and cosplayers by creating the supplies folks need to make incredible cosplays. I would like to welcome Amanda Mary Gregory, founder of First Stop Cosplay. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Can't complain. It's not pouring rain for once.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're in California. Did you get affected by any of the crazy snow or anything yesterday or this week?
We didn't get snow because we're down in Southern California. We're based in Irvine. We apparently 2 days ago it snowed outside for 30 seconds. But otherwise, it's just been a ton of rain, so much rain. And then on the roads, accidents everywhere because everyone's like, oh my goodness, water is coming from the sky. What does this mean? How do I drive in this?
It's like deer in the headlights situations. It's like, oh, what is this water, this wetness that's coming out? That's funny. Hey, y'all need it though. I mean, it's been in the drought. Y'all been in droughts for years, so this is get as much as you can.
That's it'll help with wildfire season later.
That is very, very true because there are a lot of idiots out there. but Amanda, thank you for doing this. Really appreciate you coming by. I really wanted to. When I saw y'all at ALA, I was like, oh, this is tight. So I wanted to talk more about what y'all do. So, but why don't you say I just wanted to know, how did First Stop Cosplay come to form?
So it's been a long, winding road. Because I originally went to college for fashion design, and then graduated and realized I hated fashion design. So I went back for costume design, and then really got into costumes. And I've always been a huge nerd, video games, manga, anime, all of that stuff. But suddenly, I knew how to make their costumes. At the time, I didn't know it was called cosplay. I was like, oh, sweet, I can totally, cosplay or, make the costume for Haruhi Suzumiya. And then I found out that there was an actual term for it. As I got more and more involved in the cosplay community and doing more cosplays myself and, making a lot of friends, I realized, I kept coming across people who would tell me I really want to cosplay, but I don't know how, or I can't afford to buy the pre-made ones. And not gonna lie, part of me always felt a little guilty that I essentially ended up going to school for making cosplay. But I tried to help out whenever I could. And eventually I realized that what I really wanted to do with my life was to help people cosplay. And my first plan was to have a cosplay store that was like a one-stop shop thing. Like you could, like brick and mortar store, you could walk in and purchase part of a cosplay or the full thing, like even like wig styling services, all of that stuff, and that was going to be called One Stop Cosplay. Like, this is your one-stop shop. But one year I helped one of my best friends make her first cosplay, and it was like the first time that I really got to see that process through somebody else's eyes. No matter how many times I tell this story, I always tear up when I get to this part. But it was really eye-opening for me to see how excited she got over doing these things that I took for granted. It's like, oh, this is super easy. This, like, everyone knows how to do this, right? And then she didn't know how to do it. And then when I showed her how to do it, and she'd do it on her own, and just how excited she got. And then when we were in the hotel room at Anime Expo that year, and she put the whole cosplay on for the first time, and she looked at herself in the mirror. And when she looked back at me, just like the look on her face, like, was so happy, and like so proud.
So awesome. I'm sorry. The first question out the bat to make it so emotional. I'm so sorry, but it's a great story. I love it.
I'm an emotional person. I cry all the time. That's what made me realize that I didn't want to sell people cosplays. I wanted to help them make it on their own. And that the real hurdle was not like people not wanting to put in the effort or not wanting to like go out and get the fabric and none of that stuff. It was more of a you don't know what you don't know kind of thing.
It sounds like you like your more passion. I mean, your passion more of it was teaching others how the world, like introducing them into the world of cosplay and empowering them to make their own stuff, and then and allowing them to have the confidence to, to be able to get to make what they want and then show and then be proud of it. Am I right? Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like cosplay doesn't just end when you finish making it. I see it as like a journey, that starts the moment you decide I want to make this cosplay, and then it continues for as long as you wear it. Like, every time you put it on, there's just, you get to become this other person for and until you take it off at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, well, was there something that you just like? You're saying that you just didn't like fashion design. Like, what was it in fashion design that you weren't a fan? Like, I mean, was it just the culture, or was it just the process of getting stuff done? Like, what was it?
It was boring. Because I've always been pretty like theatrical in my own like clothing, just that I wear every day, and like that, those were the kinds of things that I designed all through college. But one thing that they kept telling us was, couture, you're not going to go into that. Very few people ever make it into couture. Those of you who love designing niche stuff, you have to like make sure that there is a market for that niche stuff. The vast majority of you are going to end up designing for companies like, Forever 21 or H&M, where it's or just, other brick and mortar stores, designing a whole bunch of t-shirts and stuff like that. And that I saw myself, I pictured myself doing that in the future, and yeah.
No, I definitely understand. Like I originally wanted to be a video game programmer, and yeah, I'm old school though. I'm like really old. So during the time they're like saying, "Oh, you got to do all these programming classes," because I wanted to make my own game. But then when you open up into reality, you realize it's not the odds for you to make your own game is very, very slim. What you'd probably do is you're going to probably end up going to work for someone else and then you're going to code for them. And it's like, that's not what, I don't want to code for them. I want to code for me. I want to do my own thing. So I totally understand that level of freedom that you're wanting. And was there a moment in your like decision from pivoting on doing sewing tutorials? Because like you do tutorials on YouTube and stuff. I've seen y'all's YouTube page. Like was there like a time when you decided, you know what, let me I want to open up a full-time business for people's cosplays needs and resources? Like was there like a point when you just decided this is where I was wanting to go? I guess you kind of answered it earlier, but
yeah, that was always kind of the goal, but we were incorporated mid 2019, and that was just in time for the world to shut down.
The perfect year, yes.
Yeah, absolutely, the perfect year to start a business. So, and back then it was just me and, my marketing director, Kelly, who will, hopefully be able to join us for at least a bit. But yeah, until almost halfway through 2021, it was just the two of us. And we, during all the lockdown orders, all the stay-at-home orders and stuff, we were over 100 miles apart. So we decided just focus on social media, on Instagram, YouTube, stuff like that. That was fun. So much fun to film remotely, because she'd do the filming and the editing, but then the cameras would be set up at my place and they would be connected to my computer. So then I would grant her remote access to my computer so that she could remotely control the cameras from my computer.
That is a crazy setup. Wow.
It was interesting. Very, very interesting times.
Oh my goodness. Oh geez. Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad that you don't have to deal with that anymore. Are y'all at least closer, or is y'all still like 100 miles away from each other? Like,
we're all in an office now. Early 2021, we did get an office space here in Irvine, and there are 16 of us now.
16. Wow.
Yep. So we do all the filming, all of the writing, all the patterning, production, order fulfillment, all of that stuff we do like right here. Well, not here, outside of my office. Out in the main office.
Do you still do YouTube tutorials and stuff, or is when you're saying the filming, is that what you're filming, or like what kind of things are you filming?
We still do YouTube tutorials. We're hoping to expand that, and pay more attention to YouTube this year. Currently it's more Instagram, and then we've been starting to get into TikTok, but the vast majority of our filming is for our instructional content that comes with our sewing patterns. So it's a lot of filming, a lot of editing. We film the entire project for a sewing pattern, like start to finish, so that people can watch the videos of us making the same thing that they are making, rather than just like, here's some instructions.
Have fun.
So,
Yeah. I mean, you know a thing or two when it comes to sewing and cosplay. How long yourself? How long have you been in the cosplay scene?
Officially since 2007. Unofficially since 2005. I dressed up as Yuna from Final Fantasy 10 for Halloween, but I didn't know how to sew. I was a junior in high school. My mom, she made it, and yeah. But my first official cosplay was 2007 at Anime Expo.
Wow. So what was your 2007 cosplay that you did yourself?
It was Haruhi Suzumiya, but her extravaganza version with it's from like promo photos and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So it was a lot of fun at the time, but a few years later I decided to remake it to kind of
with your new skills and stuff, and like the upgrade. It's like this is the one I started with. This is me 2020 something, and you're just killing it. Oh, yeah. How is there no photos of this like at all?
There are photos of it out there. I believe there is a post on Instagram, because we've done a few like then and now posts for those of us in the office who cosplay, of like, here was our first cosplay, and then here's one of our later cosplays. And as much as I would love to just bury those photos of that first cosplay, I do leave them out there in the world as kind of a way to show people, because people a lot of times they'll tell me like, oh, you've been so great from the very beginning, and it's like, okay, I'm okay. I'm not bad. I'm okay. But I did have to learn. There was a learning curve.
Yes. Well, like, it's kind of funny, but then to play devil's advocate, like 2005 cosplaying, it was you had to create things to make things work, because they didn't have, like, you can't go to Joann's Fabric and you go into the cosplay section and stuff like that, or use foam or any of that stuff. That didn't exist. You had to be like, oh, I have to make this, but I don't know, and you had to figure it out. So you had to be more crafty on figuring that out to what it is today. So you gotta give yourself a little bit of credit.
Yeah, I also picked all the wrong fabrics. And I had some fit issues.
Oh man, yeah, that's a story. But that's a story of cosplayers' lives, like in the mid 2000 to 2010, though. So yeah. So that's fair. You shouldn't knock yourself on having a bad cosplay back then, because in my opinion, everybody had a bad cosplay back then.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I had a blast wearing it back then, and that's what I focus on the most is like, yeah, I might look at those photos now and cringe, but I have some amazing memories of wearing that cosplay.
What was AX your first convention?
It was, and it was a big blur. I remember walking through the front doors of the convention center. It was the last year I was at Long Beach, and I actually stopped right in the middle of the doorway and like blocked all of these people, and I was just staring all around me. And one of my friends from school was with me, and she was very accustomed to my strange ways, but I just suddenly blurted out, "These are my people. I have come home."
The natural start of a just a natural start of a weeaboo. That's nice. That is great. It's funny to think when you're saying Long Beach, because like my first time going to AX was 2010, I believe.
Mhm.
So I guess that was the first couple of years since when they moved to LA or downtown. Oh yeah, but just to think that convention was at that convention center at the Long Beach Convention Center is quite interesting to me.
Yeah, everything was spread out. I am very much directionally challenged. I
Me
got
too.
lost so many times trying to find panels, and yeah, the only thing I found without any problem was the exhibit hall because
Yeah. I mean,
shopping.
it sticks out, but Long Beach is a weird convention center, though. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I've only been there like a couple of times, but you're their panel rooms are downstairs at a very low level, and then
Yeah,
there's some on the up. Yeah, and they're not like they're not stacked. They're like this. It's like what? It's like oh no. It's like oh how you get to the room 112? Oh, you have to go to the opposite side where the aquarium exit is, and then you have to take
yeah,
that one elevator shaft that no one knows about to go down
yeah.
there. So no, I totally understand. That was a challenging one too. What other cosplays have you made like besides Haruhi Suzumiya?
Um, I've done Noel Vermilion from Blaze Blue Chrono Phantasma, Xenon from Sword Art Online, her Cat Sith version from the ALO arc. I'm totally blanking on the name of that arc, but yeah. Black Rock Shooter. I've done Hatsune Miku a few times. Uh, Freya from Chobits.
Oh wow.
Flex. Oh yeah, Chobits. You know, kills my age right there.
with clamp and all that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Nice. Man, you just yeah. So you definitely do you still do it? I mean, if you even have time, like, do you ever go to a convention and try to cosplay now, or you just don't have the time as much?
Now I don't really have the time. I ALA was actually the first time since 2019 that I got into cosplay, and um, yeah, we were. I don't normally go to the conventions because I have to be here for whatever people need me to do. Um, but because we were one of the sponsors for ALA, I wanted to be there to really you know make sure that everything went smoothly and be there if anyone needed like a big decision made, rather than calling me or messaging the office or something. It's like, hey, well, I'm already here. I can make the decision right now. But yeah, I as soon as people started talking about how we should um, showcase our cosplays at ALA, I was immediately like, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll cosplay. I'll buy the wigs myself. I'll work over the holiday break because we got a week. We took a week at the end of the year to just recover. um, but yeah, I was like, me,
What did you
me.
cosplay as? Yeah, what did you cosplay as at ALA? Were you one of the cosplays that you did or that y'all created?
Um,
All the
I
patterns.
I did. I wore Bloom, um, which is she's one of our licensed sewing patterns, and then I also spent a couple days walking around as Pan, who's she's one of our like characters for the company that we use for like promotional materials and for like First Stop Cosplay original patterns. um, we used artwork of her, and the at ALA there were these giant columns right outside the exhibit hall, and we had column wraps up there, and she was up there with some of our other characters and our panda mascot. So
That is
yeah,
awesome. Yeah,
that was fun.
yeah, that's really cool. That's cool. And finding specific patterns for cosplays can be daunting when finding them at a store or at a fabric store itself. Like, what is it that makes like First Stop Cosplay different from the competitors?
um I love answering this question because I have always avoided like commercial sewing patterns like the plague. I would rather make my own sewing patterns, and spend like a couple weeks doing that because, commercial sewing patterns, like traditionally, they come with multiple sizes and they're all stacked on top of each other. So you have to figure out like which line do I cut? And they're printed on tissue paper, which, you look at it and it tears itself. And the instructions are, I'm more of a visual learner and also like do it myself kind of learner. So yeah, we try to do what like the complete opposite of all of that. So like rather than doing like a dark elf sewing pattern, it's like, no, we're gonna have a character specific sewing pattern, which is where the licensing comes in. So we, do work with licensors. But then we also have the First Stop Cosplay Originals line, which consists of designs that can be easily adapted to any cosplay that we don't carry. Like, for example, we have a pleated skirt sewing pattern, and pleated skirts show up in cosplay all the time. Like schoolgirl uniforms, for example, all of that stuff. But we try to make the patterns as user-friendly as possible. And so we have, like size inclusivity is really important. We have 3 different size charts with 14 sizes each. And because of that, we sell a single size. So instead of getting a sewing pattern on it that has like 4 sizes stacked on top of each other, you order one size and that's what comes. And you have one line that you have to cut the patterns out on. And we also, like, all of our sewing patterns come with a ton of instructional content. So like step-by-step video tutorials. And we actually don't use industrial sewing machines here. We use home sewing machines so that people, like when you watch these video tutorials, you see sewing machines similar to what you'll be working with at home. But then also for people who prefer written instructions, we have, very detailed written instructions, and also a customer exclusive Discord server. So people can, interact with other customers who've made the same patterns that they're working on, or, who might be able to give them advice, or, if 2 people are working on the same pattern at the same time, they can, help problem solve. But also it's moderated by First Stop Cosplay employees. So it's a direct line of communication to us. Like if there's anything missing from our instructional content, then people can hit us up and be like, hey, I have a question. Can you help me?
So you have direct, so people have direct like customer service, like can get customer service directly from y'all through Discord itself. That's pretty cool. I guess the one thing, because I'm not a sewer myself, but you're saying the one, like it comes with one pattern itself, or one pattern itself. So is that like a one size fits all kind of situation, or because like is it like what why is that better than having different patterns, different size patterns?
So when you have multiple sizes that come on like with a sewing pattern, it's like you'll have one pattern piece, which is like one part of the cosplay, like one part, like say a sleeve. You won't have just one sleeve pattern. There'll be 4 of different sizes all stacked on top of each other, and some of the lines intersect, some of them are the same, and you have to like figure out like where do I cut, what do I do? Where's Kelly? Kelly's able to join.
Oh yay.
But yeah, you order, one size, so all of the sewing patterns that you get in the package are just that one size. So there's no guesswork as to, where do you cut, which patterns do you use. It's like everything on those pages, that's exactly what you need.
Okay, that's cool. That makes sense. So so basically when you're saying that, so I'm just want to make sure I got this right. So if the with the size pattern, with multiple size patterns, it's not necessarily the same. The cuts are going to be obviously different, but with one you'll have the same kind of cut even if depending on whatever size that you have, but you know where the cut's going to be at, or rationally, or well, at least, yeah, at least like literally. I don't know. I'm trying to make sure I'm getting that right, but that's cool. Hello, hi, Kelly. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm good.
Yes. I'm sorry. Can you get your name and also like what you do as well, like what you are?
My name's Kelly Willie. I am the marketing director / video lead person.
You just have many hats.
Huh?
You have many hats. That's what you're trying to.
Yeah. So I'm in charge of all of the social media and all of the convention stuff, and also overlook all the video tutorials that we do and filming for the
pattern paper.
Oh yeah, our pattern paper.
Yeah,
we love our pattern paper.
What's the is your pattern paper more like it's not as flimsy or?
Yeah. It's a tracing paper, basically. So it's a lot thicker and it's more durable.
Yeah, but it's also safe for fabric shears, because the fabric shears normally, fabric shears for fabric only. If you use them to cut on paper, it dulls them really quickly. But we did so many tests, and the tracing paper is safe for fabric shears. So you can just take our sewing patterns, pin them directly to your fabric, and then cut the sewing patterns out through the paper. And yeah, we really like it. Everyone at the office, they're like a huge fan.
Did you get any what's it called, feedback itself, like I guess, like I said, I'm not really a sewer itself. Like did you get feedback from other people suggesting to go that route, or was this something that you knew since you know how to sew and stuff that you would prefer and you think people would like it more?
It was kind of a mix of both. We knew that we wanted different paper, but then last year we did a round of beta testing, because we're always doing research, trying to get feedback from our followers on social media. We're always doing market research. We use our friends, family members, non-sewers here in the office as guinea pigs all the time to test things out. But beta testing was kind of our chance to really put things to the test of like, how are we on the right track?
Is what we're doing gonna work?
Yeah, and you were a lot more involved in that than I was.
We had people take a survey, and then from there we were like, okay, they would be good, they would be good, they would be good. These are beginners. These are more experienced people, so they can give opinions since they already know how to sew and they've dealt with patterns and all that jazz, so they could give their feedback. Yeah.
And overall, people liked the paper, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a lot of good feedback on the paper.
Yep. Some things people were a little indifferent about, but paper, it was like, yeah.
It's like, that was the number one that needs to be changed. Right. And And also you like your First Stop Cosplay YouTube page is very informative regarding like sewing and making things itself. Have you done several and y'all have done several sewing machine reviews. Is there a machine that you would recommend for a beginner, intermediate, and expert level?
I love my sewing machine. It's a Singer. It basically what I love about it the most is it has this thing called auto tension, which is how tightly the sewing machine holds the thread.
Yeah.
But you need to change the tension based on like what kind of fabric you're sewing. And my sewing machine has auto tension, so it automatically changes for you. And I love that so much. I refuse to use any other sewing machine.
So would it be safe to say maybe it's any machine that has auto tension would be like already like have a leg up for many of the other ones that are out there?
For me, but I know Kelly has different opinions.
Yeah, because I haven't really sewn. I'm one of the people that they use as guinea pigs because even though I've been around sewing for a long time because of Amanda, I've helped her with her cosplays and whatnot.
Yep.
I don't know how to do it myself.
So you probably would say like, if someone gives you a machine, you'll be like, I'll make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Because I just don't really know any better.
Yeah. I'd say for beginners, price is probably the most important thing because you're not going to want to go out and buy like an $800 sewing machine because you don't know anything about sewing machines. But I would say that, or I would recommend that people not get a sewing machine, under $150.
Yeah.
Because anything lower than that, and the sewing machine is, likely not going to last a very long time. But like once you get to the more intermediate and expert levels, like what you like, what you're looking for and what you want out of a sewing machine. So then it becomes a little bit less about price and more about which sewing machine is going to give me what I want.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. That's fair. That's good. And incredibly, like you were saying earlier, I mean, you got the official licenses to make pattern kits from the popular video game Persona 5 and the cartoon series Winx Club. Like, how was your experience just trying to getting the licenses for that? I mean, like Persona was. I've experienced some with Atlas already, and it was nightmarish. So I would love to know what your experience was with it.
We actually love Atlas. They've been great.
Although,
no, I mean I love Atlas too. I'm not throwing any kind of shade,
no,
but
yeah, it's the approval process.
Yeah, it's been interesting because licensors have been very interested. Like in 2020, we went to Licensing Expo virtually, and I was fully prepared to spend the next 2 to 3 years convincing all of these companies to just give us the time of day. But we ended up having meetings
all day
for how many days was it? 4? 3?
I think it was 3. That one was 3 days.
Okay. Yeah. And everybody we talked to was like super on board. They were super excited.
So when do you guys want to get started?
Yeah. That is a good question.
We don't have an office. It's only me and her. We don't have anything.
Yeah. We did confuse a lot of people. Some people knew exactly what we were talking about, and they're like, oh my God, we are going to make this work. This is going to happen. And then other people were like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I am intrigued. Let's talk more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Atlas actually reached out to us on the last day of licensing expo. It was what, like half an hour before it
Yeah.
ended.
Yeah, it was half an hour.
And we had just gotten off a call with Sega. And we'd asked, like, should we reach out to Atlas, because Atlas is a subsidiary of Sega, and he's like, oh yeah, reach out to them. And then as soon as the call ended, we had a message from Atlas being like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, it's so late, do you guys have time to hop on a call? And was like, yeah, I think we've got time. Totally think we've got time. And she asked us if we would be interested in Persona. And
inside we were like, oh my god, but like you just have to be like, yeah, that sounds really good.
Yeah, that sounds great. I totally would not sell my firstborn child to get Persona. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, after the call ended, we were freaking out just a little bit over the video.
Yeah, was it like the process to get it? Was it like how was it long, or was it just kind of like that, like a short period to get a license like that?
First, what took a lot of time is we had to get to the point where we were able to start making sewing patterns, to make use of these licenses. And I don't know how long the process usually is, but it has been very interesting because we're very unique as licensees. We have a very different production process, so licensors have had to kind of adapt to their approval process. And thankfully, all of them have been very open about that from the very beginning, of like, we have nothing in place to work with a company like you guys, so it's going to be making things up as we go and figuring things out. But everyone's been really great, like really, really excited to work with us.
Well, that sounds very like positive though, because that means that no one else has thought of doing what y'all are trying to do, so
Yeah.
I mean, you're making something. Oh, I'm sorry.
The licensing industry is a lot, at least on the video game and anime part of it, it's been a lot more welcoming than we
initially thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually surprising that the anime wouldn't have something like that in stock, especially when you think that you see the people cosplaying for forever now, that they'd be like, oh, it's like why don't we get an official something or the other to do it? That's cool.
It's coming 2023. I can 100% tell you that.
Okay, it's coming 2023.
It's coming this year. As well as we may be possibly, definitely, kind of, sort of talking with other licensors. So you may possibly, definitely want to stay tuned for those announcements.
That's gonna be awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And also like overall, just making accessible pattern kits for cosplayers is just a great idea. What's First Stop Cosplay's ultimate goal you want to achieve, providing cosplayers their potential tools?
There are many, so many. And the difficult thing about doing something so new is that constantly things come up that make us realize that we have to pivot, or sometimes it's like, darn it, that's not going to be possible. But one thing that we really, really would like to do is some kind of customization for sizes, because even with our wide range of sizes, there are still people that kind of fall in between them. So anything that we can figure out to increase the sizing that we can offer would be, is like, I want to do that so badly, because anybody should be able to cosplay if they want to. But yeah, licensed fabric is another thing that I would really want to do.
Licensed fabric would be awesome. Well, wait, are we talking about are you talking about like a fabric that was specifically made by y'all that's specifically licensed through y'all?
Or like fabric specifically made by us, and that would, also be licensed. Like, for example,
Protagonist pants.
Yep. Persona fabric for the exact plaid that they use for protagonist pants for school uniform, stuff like that. So I really want to get a fabric printer.
I think you may have a justifiable reason to get said fabric printer now.
We just need to find a space and the additional funding.
How big is a fabric printer?
The kind that we would need is
an industrial one.
Yeah, pretty big. Pretty big. I think like 70 or 80 inches. Gosh. I did some math and last year, and we would have needed to give up our entire conference room to do like our own fabric. But yeah,
wait for
few years.
Yeah,
maybe wait for expansion, and then they'll be like, okay, there we go. All right. My final question is there an anime or video game series or anything like cartoon, anything that you would want to pursue to make patterns for it, like what you're doing now?
Vocaloid.
That would be really cool.
For me.
Yeah. For me, for anime, it'd probably be One Piece.
Oh, One Piece.
And for video games, probably either Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy 14.
I didn't think about video games.
It's not too late. You can still think of it.
Final Fantasy 9.
Oh, I love 9.
Oh,
now it's one of my favorite ones.
Got more points.
Oh.
I love Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I was last year because I wanted to play it again, and I was like, my friend said, hey, you should just go stream it, and then I did, and so I was like, you know what, that's a good idea. So I did, but then decided to do all of it, and after I was going to my playthrough, I'm like, this game is like on a PlayStation 1, it still holds up as one of my favorite Final Fantasies.
But yeah, I think as much as I really want Vocaloid, and also One Piece, I love him. He is my god. Really, like, everything we do is for our customers. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what we want. It's more like, what do our customers want? What can we get for them?
Yeah. To be fair, I wasn't asking the customers. I was asking y'all too. Yeah. That's fine being greedy. You need to get a little bit something for yourself. That's perfectly fine with me. Oh, but that is great. And Amanda, could you like to plug in, like, where can folks find you? Where can folks purchase your stuff? Like, this is the best place to reach y'all at for First Stop Cosplay.
Firststopcosplay.com is the easiest place to find us and purchase any of our products. then we've also got, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube,
Facebook, Twitter.
yeah.
Mhm.
All First Stop Cosplay.
Yep.
Except
Okay.
Twitter is first Stop Cosplay.
First one ST. Okay. I'll
Convention?
And we're going to Anime Impulse San Diego. We're going to WonderCon. We
Oh,
are
wow.
going to AniFest, and we are also going to Fangia in San Diego.
WonderCon's like in 2 weeks, isn't it? It's getting up there.
WonderCon is. Oh God, is it in 2 weeks? No, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Anime Impulse is in 2 weeks.
Oh, wait, there's another Anime Impulse? I thought there was an
in
Impulse
San
after.
Diego,
Oh, okay.
at the Del Mar Fairgrounds.
Is it going to be exclusive, or is it a part of the Asian festival like they usually
It's part of another festival.
Oh, okay. That's cool. I didn't know they did that. I didn't know they expanded like that. That's great. But man, that's so cool to see. I just hope that y'all I'll get to see you again. Well, I probably won't be able to go to another anime convention until next year because I'm going to be traveling too. But if I do stop swing by and I see y'all, I will say hi again. But Amanda, and I'm sorry, I cannot remember. Yes. Thank you so much for stopping by, and thank you for sharing. And folks, y'all need to go check out these amazing folks at their website, firststopcosplay.com. They have some really cool stuff, their patterns and stuff. Wait until Persona. I sure as hell am waiting for Persona because my friends go.
One thing that is coming out that we're really excited for, and we're actually taking pre-orders, or I guess two things, is Stella from Wings Club.
Mm-hmm.
When is WonderCon?
23rd. It's on the 24th.
This month, she will be
Impulse.
Anime Impulse. Okay, yeah. Don't come to me for dates. Stella will be released this month in March, and in the works, and available for pre-order, we have a maid outfit for female and male, our women's and men's size charts.
Yep.
So
that's awesome.
Yep. And
man,
anyone's down for that.
Definitely check that. That's awesome. Well, yes, Kelly, Amanda, thank you so much for stopping by. And guys, once again, folks, if you loved this interview, you could also check out all the other interviews that we've done in the past on any podcast services out there, like on Spotify, Apple, or Google Cosplay, Google Podcasts, or you could go to our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, to check out everything that we do each all day, every day. So once again, guys, this is Davis signing off. Y'all take it easy. And